Well, hi friends, I'm Brian Cosby. This is Provide and Protect. Today we're talking about my top 5 knots. So I use knots most every day around our property, our homestead, but also when I'm doing fun things like camping or climbing or backpacking. And it just seems to be, out of all of the knots that are out there, great knots out there, these are the top 5 ones that I found to be most useful. So let's get into it. So the first knot is just the square knot. It is simple, it is easy, and it comes in very handy in a pinch. And the way you do this is that you do an overhand like this, okay? It's a basic overhand. And then see how this one on this side right here is coming out underneath right here? You want to keep it the same way. So keep this the same way underneath and cross it again and do another overhand. And then you pull it together and it should look really nice like that. You can kind of do this kind of fun thing. So that is a square knot. I'll show you one more time. So overhand, basic overhand. And then when this one, or it doesn't matter, so think about this one coming out over the top, keep it the same way. And when you do it, it's a nice square knot, okay? So again, strong, but not super strong. I wouldn't trust my life with this. But the other thing is, a lot of people, what they do is what we used to call a granny knot. Nothing against grannies, but a granny knot is where you mix this up, where this one that's coming out underneath, you put that over on top, and then it looks very wonky. Is that a word? Looks wonky. So don't you do that. Just keep it the same way. Another overhand, and it should look really pretty like that. All right, so the second knot is a bowline. And a bowline is super strong. I would trust my life with the bowline knot. And the way this works is, let's say you've got a tree right here, okay, sticking up, and you want to tie this around a tree. Well, the way I learned it, that I found very helpful, is that if the tree is right here, make a simple loop like this, okay? And then I always was taught that this is a rabbit, this end right here. The rabbit comes out of the hole, it goes around my rope tree here and back in the hole. And that's it. And that is a bowline. And that is very, very, very strong, very, very strong knot, okay? I'm gonna show you one more time. So whatever you're tying, tying around a pole or a tree, or whatever you want. But the idea is you make a loop with this side, or the other side, it could work either way. And then take your rabbit right here, goes up out of the hole, around the tree, and back in the hole, like that. And then you just kind of pull all the sides together, and that looks like a very nice, I think a well-tied knot just looks nice. So there's that, and that is a bowline. Very, very strong knot. All right, so the third knot is called a Taut-Line Hitch. This is probably the most useful knot that I have around our property and homestead, because we're always using this knot to hang up chicken feeders. If you want to cinch down a tarp, something like that, this would be ideal. So we use this knot. If you want to put like a canoe or kayak on the top of a car and you want to really cinch it down tight, again, great knot for that. So the way this works is, again, let's say this is you're putting this through a tarp, like a grommet of a tarp, like this. And then on let's say this is the long side, like going to a tree or a stake in the ground or something else. And so what you're going to do is you cross over right here, and you're going to start wrapping this around. You can do just a couple times, or if you want it stronger, you can keep wrapping it, okay? But just to show you. And then all you got to do is, that's on, I'm going to call that the inside right here, okay? You just wrap that around several times like that. And then on the outside, you keep it going the same direction, and you kind of wrap it around there. And instead of going this way, you go back through the loop that you just made, and then you cinch again, like all these, you cinch that up. And that is called a Taut-Line Hitch. And that is really a great, very handy knot. And the way this works, so I'm pulling on it pretty hard, right? Really hard, okay? But I can loosen it. When I loosen it, I can slide it, and then it'll bind on itself. So like I said, or you can come back down with it, make it a very small loop. Either way, But again, if you want, I'll show you how to do it one more time. I'll do it one more time, and I'll wrap it to make it stronger. Wrap it a little bit more. Make sure you have enough excess rope on this side. But again, you want to just cross it, make a loop, and I want to wrap it 1, 2, let's do 3. All right. And again, so that's on kind of the inside right here. Then I'm going to keep going the same direction and go on the outside here and back through the loop I just made. And then again, you just pull that all tight together like so. And that is going to be really strong. It's going to be stronger. Again, you can actually do another loop on top of that to make it super strong. But, you know, for most of our stuff that we do, like I said, hanging chicken feeders and other stuff around our property, that is a fantastic knot. You know, when we go camping and we want to lower or raise a pot over the fire, then this is the knot we use for that. So again, so I can cinch this down, make a small loop, make this bigger if I want, but it's a great knot. So this is called the Taut-Line Hitch. All right, so the fourth knot is the figure 8. The figure 8 I use all the time in climbing, and you can tie it 2 different ways. There's the easy way, and there's a little bit, it's not hard, but it just takes a little bit longer. The easy and fast way to tie a figure 8 is if you don't have to go around anything, you just want to make a very strong loop at the end of a rope, okay? If you want to make a very strong loop right here, or a bite, some of you are going to correct me, a bite at the end of the rope like this, then all you got to do is, instead of doing a standard, like making a loop like this and going straight through where my fingers are, you wrap it around one more time and then back through, and it should look like a what? An 8. Now you can see that or not. Like, I don't just want to focus. Oh well. But you can see it there. It's an 8 looking thing. So again, I'll show you this one, and then I'll show you the other way to do it. So wrap it around and then come back through this, and there you go. So it looks nice. Again, the knots should look nice. So if it looks wonky or something, then it's probably not correct. All right, so the other way to do a figure 8 knot is to do a single, just do like a single 8 here, like this. Here's an 8, a single 8. And then what you do is you take this end, let's say you want to have a really strong knot around, you know, a D-ring or something, a loop over here. And so you just run this end through that strong loop, and then you just simply just retrace the steps. So I'm going to come this way. It looks like it goes over here, and then under here, and then under here, and back through. I know it's probably hard to see that, but all I'm doing is just retracing my steps with the rope that I just made the single loop, or the single 8 with. So there you go. So there's the 8 again, just another way to tie it, but super strong knot, again, if you want a strong loop at the end of your rope. All right, so the last knot I want to talk about is what's called a sheet bend. Not a sheep, like a, you know, fluffy sheep, but a sheet, like a bed sheet bend. And the idea of that is connecting 2 ropes. So if you want to connect 2 ropes together, pretty strong knot, it's super simple. All you got to do is make a bite or a bend in one of the ropes, preferably if it's 2 different sizes like this, the larger one. And then you take the end, come through the bite, go around, and then back through the smaller one here. I'll show you this again in just a second. The smaller one. And then tighten that down, and that is a sheet bend. Very strong knot, okay? Let me show you that one more time. So again, this is for connecting 2 ropes together. You don't have to have different sizes. I just happen to have one to show you it works with 2 different sizes here. But make a bite in one of them, and come through the bite, go around both of the pieces of the other rope, and then back through the loop you just made. And there you go. That is a sheet bend. Well guys, hope this has been helpful for you today, and let me know in the comments if there's another knot that you want to know how to tie, or you think should have made my list today, you disagree with maybe one of them on my list that you use all the time, then drop that in the comments. But thanks so much for your support for us and for our channel, and we'll see you in the next video.